What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be back here in Forza Horizon 4 today for the beginning of the winter season to take out what is going to be our 50% completion bonus vehicle, the 2015 I believe it is, Ford F150 Prerunner by Deberti Design. And I've heard some pretty interesting things even prior to it actually being released. There was a few people that did the workarounds to be able to get the car early, and from what I've heard, this thing makes some pretty insane power numbers. But let's go ahead and jump in this thing real quick, take it out for a quick test drive stock, see how it handles, see what it looks like, and then we'll come back and actually check out the upgrades. Alright, so before we take it out or anything, let's take a quick look at the stock power figures here. We're looking at 800 for both horsepower and torque. 7,000 pounds, so this is a very, very heavy vehicle, and I'm assuming that's the 5-liter Coyote motor this thing has in it. I don't really know a lot about the specifics of this vehicle, but it definitely seems like a very interesting truck. Brad Deberti's vehicles are usually never let down in any way, so let's go ahead and explode here, see what we can actually look at on this thing. That engine is set way back in here. That's actually pretty crazy how far back into the firewall that thing's tucked. Insane amount of detail on here though. It's an interesting place to mount the shock reservoirs, which I'm assuming that's what those are up there. Right there above the tube for the intake. Yeah, that's gotta be the reservoir for the shocks. I do not see it down here, and it looks like that tube runs right into it. Definitely an interesting way to mount them. I mean, it's super crammed on space though, so it doesn't really leave a whole lot of options. You can actually see the Fox shocks in here, or the reservoir for them anyways. They really put an amazing amount of detail in these Deberti Designs vehicles. This thing is just absolutely massive. Oh, I almost didn't even notice that we have racing buckets through the entire interior. I mean, about what you'd expect in the interior of something like this. Just more finished for sure. The wood grain on the door panels is kind of an interesting touch. I don't know if that's stock on these or not. I've never actually looked at any of them out of the factory to see if it's even an option. Alright, well let's go ahead and jump in the driver's seat here, take this thing out, see how it does. Doesn't sound bad at all. I want to jump to the outside view here so I can actually see this thing. Feels like it's got a lot of suspension squat. Can you use the controller for a second so I can actually get a side view? Yeah, you can really see that suspension going up and down as you get on the gas and off of it. This thing goes up on 3 wheels pretty easy. Really does a good job of soaking up the bumps when you go over a jump like that. Oh, we're going over. Alright, let's take it over here on the or not on the highway, but on the actual paved roads and see how it handles on there. Just wanted to get a quick shot on some of these jumps and see how it does. I'm gonna switch back to the controller real quick. I want to see something here. It's really hard to get a good angle of it, but I can tell it's pulling up one wheel. For 7,000 pounds, this thing is definitely no slouch. See, do we have another gear? Yep. Definitely gonna have to do some tuning on that since I only have 7 speeds here on my actual H pattern. You really can get an idea for how much the suspension just droops and, or not droops, but compresses and comes back up when you're going around corners in this thing in first person. Like, just look at how much that body sways. It's absolutely insane. It's still very planted though, don't get me wrong. Before we get too far away from my house here, let's go ahead and head back, check out the customizations. Probably just max this thing out, take it out, have a little fun here in winter and see how this thing can handle the snow and off-road here in Horizon. It's a very loose feeling vehicle towards center at least. Once you get it wound up a little bit and start getting a little further into the... I just went brain dead and can't think of the word. Once you get so far into the steering lock, that's what I was trying to think of, it does tighten up and give a little bit of resistance, but towards the center it's just super floaty. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump over to conversion, see what this thing's got for engine swaps and stuff. Racing 7.2 V8, that was pretty expected. A standard 7.2 V8. And the Racing V6 twin turbo. I'm not sure what that's out of, unless it's the Raptor engine. See, what are we looking at? 1,000 horsepower from that. What engine is that? That's insane. We might end up throwing that in there. I'm not sure which engine it is that can get the crazy power numbers, but this thing can put down some just absolutely monstrous power. Oh, there they are. I was like, I don't even see mud flaps. Those mud flaps are way too small for a truck this size, but okay. We'll throw them on there anyways, why not? A 365 75 R17, that's a pretty monstrous tire. I think I'm gonna leave the wheels alone. I kinda like these Deberti, or the ones the Deberti design used on this thing. So we'll go over here, check drivetrain out. I have a pretty good feeling that 7.2 liter is going to be the motor that can hit over 1,800 horsepower. Throw the brakes upgrades on it. You can only upgrade front anti-roll bar or sway bar. That explains a lot of why this car was going up on 3 wheels so much around corners, or this truck was. So for weight reduction, we only get 1 upgrade, but it does almost drop 1,000 pounds off. Still a really heavy truck, but not too crazy for the kind of power this thing's supposed to be able to put out. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to do an engine swap on this. There's no way I'm gonna hit the power numbers I saw with that stock engine. I was really hoping there was gonna be more options for that motor, to be honest. So we'll throw that on. We'll twin turbo it. Oh my god. Does this have more engine upgrades? Just for the turbos and that's it, okay. 1,800 is such an insanely high number, I almost just forgot to add the 1 completely. 1,876 horsepower, 1,382 foot-pounds of torque, and now we're down to 5,800 pounds, which not super light, but for those kind of power numbers, it's not really a whole lot of weight to have to move around. Alright guys, so I'm gonna jump in, see if I can find a cool paint job for this thing real quick. Go ahead, do a little bit of tuning at least to the gears, and I'll see you guys back here in just a minute. Alright guys, as you can see, I don't know if you follow Ken Block on YouTube or not, but if you guys do, this is the livery off of his newer Raptor that he's had in quite a few of his more recent videos. It's a really cool design. The real life one's reflective. That sounds absolutely nasty. One thing I did go back in and do in customization is I did not realize this is rear wheel drive, which I should have known because it is a Prerunner truck. I did go ahead and do an all-wheel drive conversion to it since it is wintertime, it is a truck. and just to get it to the top of S1 class, because that's the only way to get it there, even with 1800 horsepower. Just did not want to quite get all the way up to the top of S1. This thing is absolutely insane now, though, with that kind of power. At least for something this large. It's not really that crazy fast, but for something this size, that's pretty nuts. Alright, let's go ahead and just hop off road here. Get my controller out of my way before I start bumping into it. See how this thing handles some off-road trails now that we've got it fully upgraded. It slides very predictably for sure. I really like the balance of this thing. It feels really good on the wheel. Forgot I was in a speed zone, went to avoid that car and just completely went straight off the road. I do have this on a 75-25 split for the diff. 75 to the rear, obviously. That way you can still slide it around, have some fun with it, but it's still got a little grip in the front to help pull you around corners. Honestly, with how much power this thing has, even with how heavy it is, I really expected it to be a lot faster. Alright guys, since we're fairly close to this windmill cross-country event, we'll go ahead and take this thing over there. Do at least one race in this thing for this video and see how well it actually can do in a competition setting. I can definitely say just cruising around and driving off-road, that sort of thing, this thing is a lot of fun to drive for sure. If you have the chance to get this car, you definitely need to do it. 50% is not hard at all to get, especially if you already have the monthly rival completed, you're already qualified for ranked adventures, you're already halfway there at that point. So you definitely should get this truck while you can, because if you don't, it's going to be going for a lot in the auction house. I already know it. It's going to be a really hard to get vehicle, and it's going to cause the price to be really high on this thing. It's just so entertaining every time you get on the gas and the nose just pulls straight up towards the sky on throttle in this thing. I even stepping it up a little bit too. It's just that much power and that much suspension travel. Oh, just barely squeezed through that. Got real lucky there. I'm not gonna chance going through the windmill. I don't know how much clearance this thing would actually have on each side. Oh my gosh, I think I got that checkpoint. Yep, I saw that Jeep coming and I knew I was going to get pushed towards the house. Just got clipped by somebody again. Well, it's obviously that Jeep. I have a hair on my face or something driving me nuts. That was a nice slide through there. That's what I was saying about this thing though. It's very predictable when you slide it. It's easy to put where you want to. Especially with how I have the power distribution set up. It's got enough to get you sideways, but at the same time it's got just enough power in the front wheels still to get traction and pull you through. Oh no, I hit that way wrong. There's no way I'm gonna catch first place back up, but obviously if I wouldn't have made that mistake, I would have easily made it and took first place, and my wheel's off center now because I went full lock. And if you guys don't know what I mean by that, if I go full lock right because I had ran a cheap eBay wheel on here for a while that wasn't drilled center and I manually set the center for my wheel, I went to lock too hard one time like that, and ever since then, if I go full lock right, it has too much travel, so it actually recenters about right there instead of actually centering. So I have to go all the way left full lock, and it'll actually be fine again. Really, really not cool when you're in the middle of racing and drifting though, and that kind of stuff happens. That was a horrible price for that wheel spin. And on that note, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope you guys get a chance to get this... Excuse me. As I was saying, I hope you guys get a chance to get this truck, drive it around, have some fun with it, because it's really cool. It's nothing super special or super crazy. Just a really fun truck to drive that can run in some insanely high power levels. And it's actually pretty good for S1 off-road, it looks like, too. Well, not off-road, cross-country. Definitely has way more top-end speed than a lot of the other vehicles in that category, and its handling is a lot better than you would expect from something this size. Anyways, guys, if you did enjoy the video today, don't forget to hit that like button down below, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.